Up next, a former Uvalde school officer facing trial in a case tied to the Robb Elementary shooting. We are breaking down what's ahead before the courtroom doors open. And former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife are in U.S. custody, facing serious charges. We'll break down what happens when they appear in a Manhattan courtroom today. And one veteran found hope, healing, and a second chance in an unlikely hero, a rescue dog. Coming up, we'll show you their remarkable story.
We got a warmer day ahead with some foggy spots here across the area this morning. We'll take a look at all the details coming up in your forecast. So stay right there because Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus starts right now.
Together, we're putting East Texas first. You're watching Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
Jury selection begins today in the first trial tied to the Robb Elementary School shooting. Former officer Adrian Gonzalez faces 29 counts, accused of waiting 77 minutes before confronting the gunman. Prosecutors say his inaction put lives at risk. His defense says mistakes aren't always crimes. Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Jesus Martinez is on assignment. Thank you so much for joining us here on CBS 19 Plus. It is a rather warm start to our Monday morning, and it's foggy in a lot of places across East Texas, Joel.
Yeah, that is right. As we take a look live at our Nacogdoches cam behind me, that fog is definitely evident out there. You can see live on the campus of SFA. You can see a little bit of the haze from the fog out there. Temperatures in the low 50s with a dew point pretty close to the air temperature. That means fog is likely developing, and we can see it at our Nacogdoches cam with a south wind fairly light at 7 miles per hour. And it is a little bit stronger in some parts of the area, which is kind of mitigating some of the fogginess in some parts of the area. Upper 30s in Mount Pleasant. We got 50s along and south of the I-20 corridor with 48 degrees in Marshall, 53 in Henderson, and 51 in Nacogdoches this morning. Our current visibilities down to a quarter mile in Gilmer with 3 miles of visibility in Tyler and 1 to 3 mile visibilities across deep East Texas. So again, definitely want to make sure you are taking care of this morning. Temperatures will be on their way up into the low to mid 60s. Clouds beginning to break apart. We'll end up in the low to mid 70s for this afternoon with a south breeze of 10 to 15 miles per hour. Record high temperatures are going to be possible later this week. I'll show you when in your 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Joel. Well, jury selection begins today in the first trial tied to the Robb Elementary School shooting. The case centers on the police response. Adrian Gonzalez is facing charges of child abandonment and endangerment. He and other law enforcement officers waited 77 minutes before tactical units finally moved in and killed the shooter at Robb Elementary. Gonzalez now faces a 29-count indictment, accused of failing to confront the gunman and follow active shooter training. He denies any wrongdoing. Prosecutors say his inaction put lives at risk, while his defense argues that mistakes aren't necessarily crimes.
If I'm the prosecutor, I'm going to say, well, his inaction placed them, in danger.
But do you criminalize that?
That's right. Even being a coward is not a crime. The defense is really going to put forward, put yourself in Officer Gonzalez's shoes. When he arrives, what does he know? What does he not know?
Jurors will now decide whether Gonzalez's choices that day were criminal or just tragic missteps. The trial is taking place in Corpus Christi. It was moved out of Uvalde County because of the impact the shooting had on that community. CBS 19 will have gavel-to-gavel coverage once the trial begins today. Now's a good time to download our streaming app, CBS 19 Plus, where our exclusive coverage will be for you. And CBS 19 Plus is free to download on your smart TV. Longview ISD is mourning the passing of Doris McQueen, a longtime business director and namesake of a local elementary school. McQueen, who died on New Year's Day at 95, spent 46 years serving the district, retiring as Director of Business Services. She was honored with awards including Businesswoman of the Year and Rotary Citizen of the Year. A memorial service will be held Saturday, January 10th at the Evangelical Presbyterian Church in Longview. Today, former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife are expected to be arraigned in a New York courtroom on narco-terrorism-related charges. The two were captured during a military operation in Venezuela and then transported to the U.S. over the weekend. CBS News' Bradley Blackburn has more.
Venezuela's former president Nicolas Maduro is behind bars in this Brooklyn detention center. Soon, he and his wife, Celia Flores, are expected to make their first appearance in a Manhattan federal court on drug, weapons, and narco-terrorism charges.
There will be more security around him, obviously, but it will be fairly procedural.
On Saturday, the U.S. military carried out the operation that led to their capture in Venezuela's capital city of Caracas, igniting new uncertainty over the country's future.
We're in charge.
The president faced new questions Sunday over who's running Venezuela.
Venezuela right now is a dead country. We have to bring it back, and we're going to have big investments by the oil companies.
Venezuela's new interim president, former Vice President Delcy Rodriguez, issued a statement calling for peaceful coexistence. President Trump says she's cooperating, though in an interview with The Atlantic, he also warned, quote, if she doesn't do what's right, she is going to pay a very big price.
As the Trump administration and Justice Department lawyers prepare for court here today, there's a different reaction on Capitol Hill, where some lawmakers are now slamming the Venezuela operation as illegal.
The Constitution is really pretty clear that the representatives of the people get to be consulted and ultimately approve military activity. That has not happened here.
Multiple sources familiar tell CBS News White House officials are expected to give a classified briefing to lawmakers later this afternoon. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And we are learning that dozens of Venezuelans and Cubans were killed in the operation over the weekend. Multiple U.S. service members were wounded. President Trump last night said he had calls into them, adding, quote, they're all in good shape. It's time for your morning headlines now. It's 7:08. Nearly 5 years after the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, the debate over what happened is back in the spotlight. Tomorrow, House Democrats plan to hold a public meeting with testimony from lawmakers and police officers. Now, it's aimed at pushing back on claims made by President Donald Trump following his pardons of more than 1,500 riot defendants. There will also be a march tomorrow billed as a memorial, honoring Ashley Babbitt and 4 others who died on or after January 6th. Brian Sicknick, a U.S. Capitol police officer, died after suffering 2 strokes. This comes after he defended the U.S. Capitol during the assault. He's also set to be honored. In Switzerland, mourners gathered on Sunday to honor the victims of last week's deadly bar fire at a Swiss ski resort. At least 40 people were killed and more than 100 people were injured in the blaze that broke out during the New Year's Eve celebration. Authorities say many of the victims were teenagers. And fans of McDonald's McRib are suing over the sandwich's lack of rib meat. The class action lawsuit accuses the fast food chain of false advertisement. The McRib has 5 ingredients: seasoned boneless pork dipped in barbecue sauce, sliced onions, and dill pickles in a toasted bun. McDonald's insists that the meat is 100% pork sourced from U.S. farmers. And IHOP is starting the first full week of 2026 on a sweet note for you. The restaurant chain is offering free bottomless pancakes when you buy select breakfast combos. The deal was announced with the help of NFL star Malik Neighbors. The promotion runs through the end of March, so there's plenty of time to stack up those pancakes. Well, video showing a foster kitten in Nebraska has recently gone viral. What makes the cat so special isn't just her cuteness, but also her blindness. Emma Norwood spoke with the kitten's foster mother, who says she hopes the video will lead to a happy ending for the perfectly imperfect kitten.
The Beatrice Humane Society rescuing a 7-week-old kitten found in the middle of a road in Wymore with a serious infection in both eyes. Lilbit undergoing surgery to get both eyes removed, leaving her with a new way of navigating life. Amanda Diekman, who lives in Lincoln, already a cat owner herself, saw Lilbit and decided to take her in as a foster family.
There's obviously things that she has to go through to learn our space, but she's doing so well, and it's been so much easier than I thought it ever would be.
Diekman's 18-month-old cat, Teddy, quickly making friends with Lilbit despite her inability to see. The family posting on TikTok showing how the 7-week-old kitten is adjusting to the world around her. The video capturing the hearts of 1.1 million people who are now cheering on Lilbit and her friends.
Immediately, it started getting a lot of views, and so I knew that it had been pushed on the main page, and then when I woke up the next day, it was like at 500,000 views. So from there, it just keeps going. My notifications still have not stopped.
For Diekman, she says it has been an amazing experience getting to see just how smart Little Bit is, and the kitten has stolen their hearts.
It's honestly been a lot easier than I thought it would be. I think the idea of it and also just fostering in general feels like this big feat, and it's really not. They just are wanting love and a warm place.
According to Carly Fidds, executive director for the Beatrice Humane Society, they receive around 7 or 8 blind rescues a month, including Zoe, one of the Humane Society's blind dogs, who is waiting for her forever home. And with the help of Diekman's TikTok, will hopefully find it soon.
Every one of those small little publicity things, or 1.1 million publicity things, those all help kind of change the perception around rescued animals, change their perception about life and love and all of those things. I just love seeing them get that little bit of spotlight that they deserve, even if they can't see that spotlight.
Aw, sweet little things. Hopefully they find their perfect home.
I love it.
All right, this new year, well, it's here, and many of us are thinking about goals for 2026. Maybe you want to eat a little healthier, get more exercise, save money, or finally tackle that big project you've been putting off. Some people even make fun or unusual resolutions just to keep things interesting, right? So now we want to know, what are your New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, now I don't usually make resolutions, but if I had to make some, it would be to be a little bit more active. And also, this year is a big year. I'm getting married, so get married.
Get married. Well,
get married this year.
That one's going to be easy. You want to check that one off your list in June?
June, yep.
That's what I thought. Okay, for me, it's usually something health related, whether it's to eat healthier or to say so long to soft drinks for a little while or something like that. But mostly I just want to find time to fit in the walking, the running. I was doing really good during like the summer months, and then fall got so busy with kid stuff that it's not, I'm still doing it, just not as much as I would like to be doing it. And I feel better when I'm active.
Absolutely. I'm hoping to kind of feel better as well. I'm very lucky because my sister is really into being active, and she's going into exercise science for school.
Great.
So she's like all in for like making, workout routines for me and stuff like that. So
you're an encourager. She can keep you accountable, even from afar.
Yeah, a built-in fitness trainer. Trainer. Yeah, there you go.
Celia says the best resolution, not making them. Living one moment at a time, thanking God that you are breathing, because in that breath we have another opportunity to please Him. So that's good.
That's
Takes
really
off
good.
some of the pressure, right? That's why I usually just call them a goal, because a goal doesn't seem so like lofty, right? A resolution is like, I resolve to do this and I'm going to. And then when you fall back on it, well, you feel bad about it.
Exactly. Don't want to be too hard on yourself.
All right. Well, hard to make any resolutions when it comes to this weather. I mean, it's keeping us on our toes this winter.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been quite a roller coaster. And this morning we're watching for some fog, which might impact you this morning as you're heading out to work or school this morning. And luckily things aren't looking too bad. I would give yourself maybe about 5 to 10 minutes of extra time compared to what you're seeing on our I-20 report. So far, about roughly 2 hours to Dallas and 1 hour and 30 minutes over to Shreveport. Some thick fog definitely reported in some parts of the area. Not looking too bad on US 69 either. Again, maybe give yourself a little bit of extra time. 2.5 hours up to Denison, 1 hour and 30 minutes roughly to Lufkin. Things are starting to pick up a little bit on some of our other routes. We got 55 minutes from Jacksonville to Nacogdoches, 40 minutes from Tyler to Longview, 55 minutes from Tyler to Palestine, and 45 minutes from Tyler to Athens. This is what I mean right here. So we got 1/4 mile visibilities in Gilmer up to Mount Pleasant, 3 1/4 for Henderson, down to 1 3/4 for Lufkin. So again, definitely want to make sure you are taking a little bit of extra time this morning. Yellow lights for the fog this morning. That'll burn off for this afternoon. Low 70s with partly cloudy skies. Should be nice and clear.
All right. Thank you, Joel. Well, for many veterans, the hardest battles don't happen overseas. They happen after coming home. To kick off the 3rd annual Paw It Forward campaign, CBS19 and the SPCA of East Texas are highlighting a remarkable bond that is saving lives in more ways than one. This morning, CBS 19's Brennan Gurley introduces you to a veteran struggling with PTSD and other challenges who found healing and hope through an unexpected partner, a rescue dog.
They're always happy to see you, and they never leave your side when you need them most. no one loves as unconditionally as a dog. For U.S. Army veteran Joshua Essex, that unconditional love didn't just bring comfort, it saved his life.
It's a scary feeling because I've been close to that, to where I didn't have hope.
Essex struggled with PTSD and night terrors, waking up 2 to 3 times a night, heart racing, drenched in sweat. He says alcohol became the only way he knew how to cope.
If I didn't have a drink in my hand or alcohol in my system, it was unbearable.
That all changed when Joshua met Meister, a rescue dog trained as a PTSD and night terror alert service animal through Pets for Vets, a free program through the SPCA of East Texas that pairs shelter dogs with veterans.
It was the very first night that I brought him home that he alerted on me. And all he would do was just lick my neck, and it woke me up.
Before Meister, Joshua says he was barely sleeping, sometimes just 2 or 3 hours a night. The exhaustion and anxiety were taking a toll on every part of his life.
As a man, you're supposed to be strong, especially as a combat vet or a soldier. You're not supposed to show fear, and I was terrified.
The rest is history.
Oh, my life's done a complete 180.
Allison Tuttle, owner and trainer of Canine Connections, has seen this transformation countless times.
It is a game changer. It really is. I see people that have never gotten out of their homes. We go to the movies, we go to dinner.
Once on the brink of struggling in silence, Tuttle's passion not only bleeds into her work, but has helped at least 28 veterans move forward, giving them a sense of purpose.
He's got to go into the house and sweep the house. It doesn't matter. Meister is his battle buddy, and that's what he is trained for, to make sure that he keeps Josh in that state of mind of, I'm okay.
The 3-year-old Beagle and Pit Bull mix went through hundreds of hours of training to learn how to support Josh, giving both a second chance.
People throw away these dogs on the side of the road like some people throwing our veterans out. You know, you take these two and you will work with them, give them the love, give them the structure, give them the training, and you will help them thrive no matter what.
For Joshua, Meister is more than a service dog. He's a constant reminder to keep going.
I have a daughter, and every father wants to see their daughter graduate, walk down the aisle. I was completely terrified that it was not in my future to see that. And that was worth at least trying the program.
For CBS19, I'm Brennan Gurley.
So on January 30th, you can join the team for this life-changing mission. We'll be sharing heartwarming stories all month long that spotlight the important work of the SPCA of East Texas. Click the QR code on the left side of your screen and every donation will go right back to the nonprofit. And this year, a generous donor is matching donations up to $25,000, helping your support go even further. So grab your pom-poms, cheer on your furry MVPs, and help us paw it forward. Well, Week 18 brought heartbreak, hope, and one final statement before the NFL playoffs. Some teams stumbled, others shined, but we know now exactly who's ready. We got full details coming up in sports.
It's time for CBS 19 Sports.
Well, hello and welcome to Sports from Jimmy Searfoss. We're glad you're with us in a season the Dallas Cowboys would like to forget they ended up playing a game, and the last game that they'd probably like to forget too. Dallas walked into MetLife Stadium yesterday on a 9-game win streak and started off hot over the Giants. 9-game win streak over the Giants, I will say. Jaden Blue, 14-yarder into the end zone, but here's what's been the issue all year long. Count the missed tackles. There's one. I slowed down for you. Here comes another one, and then another one right there. That's 4, and then another bad angle there from Big 2-1 and finds its way into the end zone. The Giants take a lead here with this one. Every single Cowboy was chasing him on the way to the end of the end zone. Later on, defense didn't look much better. Count them, 1, 2, 3 Cowboys in one little area, and Tyrone Tracy still ends up with the ball into the end zone. Joe Milton gets into the game, and Joe Milton throws a pick when he gets into the game. Cowboys set up the Giants just beyond the 30-yard line and ends up putting them on the door of the end zone, and Singletary takes this one in from there. Giants doubled up on the Cowboys 34-17 to take the last game of the season, and both teams end this one in a little bit of a scrappy way.
The question is why. We need to look at and figure out why. Did not think that we would be 7-9-1. I didn't think that we wouldn't be in the playoffs. I expected to be in the playoffs and competing for Super Bowl. We did not do that. That starts with me, and I understand that. But I can promise you this: we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Cowboys go into the offseason with a lot of questions about that defense, and it starts with defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. We'll see what goes on with him later on. Hey, Texans game was a lot more fun yesterday. How about Colts quarterback Riley Leonard, not Philip Rivers, They didn't think he'd go this deep early on into this one. No, that's his first touchdown pass of his career. How about that? 66 yards, and the Colts get a little cheeky here. Fake punt, ends up converting, and then they said, you know what? That worked, and the Texans were pretty confused. Let's go ahead and run it back again. The punt team stays out on the field, ends up running another play, 4 positive yards, and they get the Texans for too many men on the field. So it works out. How about that? It's week 18. Let's have some fun. All right, no more funny business for the Texans, though. Stroud gets to work and gets the Texans back on the board here. He hits Higgins in the end zone. All smiles for Houston. They got the lead right back down in H-Town. Colts back on offense. Dan Neal forces Leonard to spike this one into the ground. It's called a fumble. Now Houston back in business. We nearly have a big man touchdown. Wait a little bit. We'll get you there. Don't worry. Stroud on the 2 here. A little hesitate, and he's going to go find a gap here between the 2 blockers for him. Texans growing that lead to 10 now down in Houston. Colts on the line. Leonard, for a guy who just threw his first touchdown, this is a pretty good way to follow it up. How about that for number 2 of the career? And then later on, Leonard shows off the legs. Kid goes for 3 touchdowns. How about that for the Notre Dame alum? Colts take the lead in this one. Closing seconds, though. Texans come up big for the go-ahead game winner. 43 yards out. It's good. Colts looking for a little desperation play. A little razzle-dazzle. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Ends up on the ground. The ball does. And check this out. Tommy Togiai. Big man touchdown, falls into the end zone. How about that to cap off your regular season? And then it takes us to the playoff picture with the win. They ended up grabbing that 5th seed, and that's actually going to be the Steelers, who won last night over the Ravens in a absolute crazy game. The Broncos locked up the number 1 seed. They get the bye. Jacksonville locked up the AFC South with a win yesterday. Now we go from here. All these matchups will take place next weekend. The bye will go down, and the team that will play Denver will be the lowest team that survives this round. Now, the Texans already did play Denver. Denver just barely won that game. But, we'll cross all that when we get there. They got to get through the Steelers first. And that's all I got for you. Morning, y'all.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. Well, we're about to step away for a moment while we break into our over-the-air broadcast with a news update for you. We'll be right back with more here on CBS 19 Plus. Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Thanks for being with us for this morning news update. The U.S. strike on Venezuela's capital is being felt far beyond Washington and Venezuela. Here in East Texas, members of our local Venezuelan community are paying close attention with a mix of hope, questions, and concern about what comes next. We spoke with Congressman Nathaniel Moran, and he says he supports the results of the strike.
This was a necessary action to secure the national security interests of the United States. President Trump has been very clear with leaders around the world. He is not going to deal with totalitarian regimes that intend to do harm on the United States and deal with them passively. He's going to be active in those situations, and he did that.
And Cole Hefner also responded saying, quote, "This operation sent a clear message not only to Maduro and his supporters, but to the Chinese Community Party. America is watching, and under President Trump, weakness is no longer U.S. policy." Here in East Texas, police are still looking for a man who robbed a Jacksonville gas station at gunpoint over the weekend. Jacksonville police say the suspect entered the store on North Jackson Street around 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday, pulled out a gun and demanded cash from the register before leaving with an unknown amount of money. No one was hurt during the incident. Officers are reviewing surveillance footage and following up on leads. Anyone with information is asked to call the Jacksonville Police Department. That number is on your screen, 903-586-2546. One person is in the hospital after a shooting in Longview that happened Saturday night. Longview police say they responded to a report of deadly conduct in the 1200 block of 8th Street around 7:40, and that's when they found one person shot. As of now, that person remains in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The investigation is still ongoing. Well, it's a pretty warm start to your Monday morning. Let's get over to Joel now with an update on your forecast.
It is a warm start and a little bit of a foggy start in some parts of the area. That will quickly fade away into the rest of this morning, and we'll end up with some sunshine and some warmer temperatures for the afternoon. We are going to be tracking more warm fronts coming into the area for tonight and also into potentially Wednesday into Thursday with near record highs. A good possibility our next system will be moving through with a chance for rain on Thursday into Friday, and behind that system lies our next cool down. We could be cooling down slightly below average for this weekend. So future skycast into this afternoon shows clouds beginning to clear. Temperatures in the middle to upper 60s to near 70 in some parts of the area. That warm front will move through Tuesday morning. We'll start off a little bit warmer in the middle to upper 60s with maybe a couple of foggy spots and cloudy skies overhead. Upper 70s, low 80s will be a possibility into Tuesday, potentially tying our record high of 78 for Tuesday, potentially up to 79 for the afternoon on Wednesday, maybe even near 80 in some parts of the area for Wednesday afternoon. And then our next system again arrives for Thursday into Friday. Temperatures behind that system will go down just below average in the middle to upper 50s.
Welcome back to Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus. This is what's coming up in our second half hour. A soggy start to the new year in California, streets turning into rivers as powerful storms and king tides trigger major flooding. Some say they haven't seen it this bad, the impact and what's coming up next. And joy for some and outrage for others. Venezuelans in the U.S. react to the collapse of the Maduro government as protests spread nationwide and travel disruptions ripple across the country.
And we're tracking our next batch of really warm and mild air as we head into the next couple of days. Record highs will be a possibility. I'll show you what's in the 7-day forecast coming up later this half hour.
Together, we're putting East Texas first. You're watching Morning Yo on CBS 19 Plus.
Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Jesus Martinez is on assignment this morning. Thank you so much for joining us on CBS 19 Plus. Former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife are expected to be arraigned in a New York courtroom today on narco-terrorism-related charges. Now, the two were captured during a military operation in Venezuela and then brought back to the U.S. over the weekend. Their capture raises fresh questions about Venezuela's future. President Trump says Venezuela is a dead country and calls for major oil investments, while lawmakers on Capitol Hill question the legality of the operation. A classified briefing, though, is scheduled in Congress for today, sometime later. And the news out of Venezuela prompted reaction across the world from celebrations to protest. And it also caused some unexpected travel delays in the Caribbean for those returning from holiday vacations. Bradley Blackburn has more.
In South Florida, there were celebrations over the weekend as Venezuelans who fled their country learned of the toppling of the Maduro regime.
It's just a feeling, I can't explain it. We make a life here because we had to, not because we wanted to. So we really want to go back.
Some 8 million Venezuelans, more than a quarter of the country's population, left their homeland in the last decade after economic collapse under a repressive government.
I think we deserve having freedom.
But elsewhere, there was anger.
Not another endless war.
Protests in many places, from Texas to New York and North Carolina.
So outrageous seeing that our tax dollars are being used for this outrageous act of bombing another country and a sovereign nation.
At the Vatican, Pope Leo, addressing a crowd of followers in Italian, criticized the U.S. intervention. Meanwhile, there were ripple effects at airports nationwide after airspace was closed during the U.S. operation. The FAA closed the skies over much of the Caribbean Saturday, stranding many travelers trying to get home from the holidays, including CBS Philadelphia photojournalist Nate Silvas.
We had a flight on Frontier, that was canceled. Then we had a flight on United, that was canceled. So then we were scrambling to try to get another flight.
Some travelers were told it could take days to get rebooked, but airlines are now adding service and using larger planes to try to catch up. Altogether, more than 1,100 flights were canceled due to the military action in Venezuela. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And as you can see, the U.S. strike on Venezuela's capital is being felt far beyond Washington and Venezuela. Here in East Texas, members of our local Venezuelan community are paying close attention with a mix of hope, questions, and concern about what comes next. We spoke with Congressman Nathaniel Moran, and he says he supports the results of the strike.
This was a necessary action to secure the national security interests of the United States. President Trump has been very clear with leaders around the world. He is not going to deal with totalitarian regimes that intend to do harm on the United States and deal with them passively. He's going to be active in those situations, and he did that.
Several other Texas lawmakers also reacted to the U.S. strike on Venezuela, sharing their views on the operation. Senator John Cornyn posted on X saying in part, quote, "Kudos to President Donald Trump. Maduro was not only an illegitimate president of Venezuela, he was the head of the Cartel de los Soles, a major drug trafficking network." Ted Cruz said, quote, "I applaud President Trump for his leadership, and I am deeply grateful to our service members for their execution of this operation." And Cole Hefner also responded saying, quote, "This operation sent a clear message not only to Maduro and his supporters, but to the Chinese government party, Community Party. America is watching, and under President Trump, weakness is no longer U.S. policy." Back here in East Texas, police are still looking for a man who robbed a Jacksonville gas station at gunpoint over the weekend. Jacksonville police say the suspect entered the store on North Jackson Street around 2:30 in the afternoon on Saturday, pulled out a gun, and demanded cash from the register before leaving with an unknown amount of money. No one was hurt during the incident. Officers are reviewing surveillance footage and following up on leads. Anyone with information is asked to call the Jacksonville Police Department at 903-586-2546. One person is hospitalized after a shooting in Longview Saturday night. Longview PD say they responded to a report of deadly conduct in the 1200 block of 8th Street around 7:40, and that's when they found one person shot. As of now, that person remains in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The investigation is still ongoing. It's a tragedy that shook the state and sparked a national debate on school safety. Jury selection starts soon for Adrian Gonzalez. He's a Uvalde CISD police officer charged in connection with the Robb Elementary shooting that killed 19 children and 2 teachers. The trial was moved from Uvalde to Corpus Christi after Gonzalez's attorneys filed a motion in August to change venues. They claimed that he wouldn't receive a fair trial in Uvalde County. There will be heightened security at the courthouse throughout the trial, from local law enforcement to Texas Rangers. And CBS19 will have gavel-to-gavel coverage once that trial begins. Now is a good time to download our CBS19 streaming app, CBS19 Plus. That's where our exclusive coverage will be. You can do that for free on your smart TV. So far, 2026 has been historic for parts of California, but not in a good way. Record-setting king tides have hit sections of the state, causing flash flooding and significant damage. John Lorink reports.
Most of our stuff is just getting taken out by the current.
So far, it's been a soggy new year for many in the Golden State, where some streets have transformed into makeshift rivers.
This area is flooded frequently, but I've never seen it this bad. And I think it looks like people were pretty unprepared.
Severe storms struck across California over the past few days. Certain counties saw more than 4 inches of rain over a 48-hour period.
As I tried to pass through this bigger part of the flood, I'm in a Mini Cooper and it just was a little too low, so here I sit.
On Sunday afternoon, half the streets in the Bay Area's Larkspur Marina neighborhood were underwater after the overflowing of the Corte Madera Creek.
We're trying to keep as dry as possible, you know, every sump pump, every sandbag, but this is just kind of normal for this area, but it's just this is really much worse than we've ever seen.
King tides are the highest predicted tides of the year for a coastal location, and officials say these are the largest ones the region has seen since 1998.
They happen this time of year, but when in combination with storms like we've seen the last few days, it can really wreak havoc. You see a lot of flooding in a lot of low-lying areas, plus you'll see higher levels in our creeks. So we're really letting people know they need to be ready.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, now to trending news in Asheville, North Carolina. A local group is turning trash into treasure with glowing lantern puppets. The Street Creature Puppet Collective builds giant puppets using everything from pool noodles to coffee filters, bringing them to parades and community events. Every week, members invite the public to help create and operate these whimsical, sustainable creations, lighting up the streets while showing that art, community, and fun can come from almost any materials. That's pretty cool, repurposing things.
How cool is that? That's so cool.
You would never know by looking at it, maybe that's a pool noodle or trash that was made into treasure.
No, I mean, that's very clever. And I mean, on top of that, it lights up. You know, it's crazy, you know? You can get a nice nighttime parade in.
I know. Anytime things glow, I'm all in.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's chilly here. Not real chilly, just like barely chilly, right? But it's cold enough in China for these ice sculptures. 76 artists from 12 countries converged on a city in China for its yearly ice sculpture festival. They carved their masterpieces from a block of ice about 2 yards high, 2 yards wide, and about 1.5 feet thick. They have 3 days to create their artwork. Most of the sculptures were from Russia and won the top 3 awards. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but it's fascinating to me that they're able to do that with a piece of ice.
Right. I think I might need a little bit more than 3 days, though.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
I would
But
need
yeah.
like a whole lot of training, but can you imagine how cold your hands are? I know they have on like gloves and everything, but it's hard to work in gloves.
Yeah, it's just hard to work in the cold too. Like,
Period.
You know, just sometimes like when the power goes out up north, when it's just so cold, I'm just like, I'm feeling for the linemen over there. I'm just
Right.
like, wow.
How do they do it?
God bless them.
Well, a Kansas City artist is taking a pink alien all over the globe, literally and figuratively. The artist, who goes by Toma, created the character to celebrate belonging, acceptance, and being yourself. From rooftops to paintings, the alien shows up in some unexpected places, reminding people that no matter who they are, no matter they are who they are, right? Just 5 years into painting and without formal art school, Toma says the pink alien is his way of spreading joy, connection, and a sense of home wherever it appears. It's almost like Where's Waldo, but where's
I was just
the
going to
alien?
say that. Yeah. Yeah, where is the alien?
And it kind of looks a little bit like Barney, but not, because it's an alien and not a dinosaur, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, you know, it resembles the same color, sort of.
I could see where it'd make you smile, like you're looking for.
It's like, oh, that's random.
This beautiful artwork and a little purple alien in the corner.
I love it.
Are we going to see that in your forecast?
I don't think so. Well, a lot of cloudy skies.
Yeah.
I think I accidentally brought a piece of Michigan here. It's been very, very cloudy. We've had repeated rounds of snow. Thankfully, we're just warm enough to where we don't have to worry about snow, but certainly some fog is lingering in some parts of the area this morning. Live look at our Nacogdoches cam on the campus of SFA. Very gloomy picture out there. You can see a little bit of the fog still kind of staying there. We got dew points up to 50 degrees and the air temperature itself is 51. And again, when you have these two numbers that close together, you have that potential for a little bit of fog. It's basically the saturation temperature. The air can't hold any more water, so it becomes fog for you. So that's your little scientific tidbit there. South winds of 7 miles per hour is kind of keeping the fog a little bit more patchy. It's not super widespread, but still something to kind of watch out for. 43 for Mount Pleasant, 50 for Jacksonville, 51 Nacogdoches, and 46 for Center this morning. Fog starting to become a little bit more widespread as the wind starts to kind of weaken. Down to 0 mile visibilities in Mount Pleasant and half a mile visibilities in Gilmer, with 1 mile reported in Marshall. So certainly want to make sure you leave with a little bit of extra time. Take it easy out there on the roadways. Now, luckily for the rest of this morning, we'll see the fog start to burn away and we'll see a little bit more sunshine for the afternoon. Temperatures will rise into the low 60s for the early parts of the afternoon, and we'll see highs near 71 for the later part of the afternoon. Partly cloudy skies and a south wind of 10 to 15 miles per hour. It does get warmer from here. Potentially near record highs are going to be possible. I'll show you what that looks like in your 7-day forecast coming up.
Thank you, Joel. Well, kissing isn't just for people. A new study says the habit dates back millions of years, and even animals do it. The surprising science behind locking lips coming up. A health alert, there are new guidelines for cervical cancer screening here in the U.S. The Department of Health and Human Services now says self-testing for HPV is recommended, which will hopefully lead more people to get tested. HPV can cause cervical and other cancers. However, cervical cancer is a preventable type of cancer thanks to the HPV vaccine. The COVID virus is still having a big impact on elderly people in the U.S. That's according to a study published in JAMA, which found people over 65 make up 2/3 of COVID hospitalizations and 80% of COVID deaths. Getting vaccinated and receiving early treatment can prevent COVID from becoming severe. It's time to get your keto on. That's because it's National Keto Day. A ketogenic diet is low carb, high fat, and moderate in protein in an effort to put your body into ketosis. That's a state in which it burns fat for fuel instead of sugar. The diet was created in the 1920s to treat epilepsy. You can celebrate the day by starting a keto diet or maybe just have a keto meal and read up about it on the internet. Well, if you rang in the new year with a kiss, you took part in a tradition millions of years in the making. Scientists now say the origins of kissing go back much farther than most people think. CBS's Tina Kraus has the story.
Kiss me once.
It's the classic romantic moment on the big screen, and sometimes just as unforgettable in real life.
Go on then.
Tony and Christine Lewis still remember their first kiss in England.
Oh yeah, it was quite romantic, and 40 years later we're still here, so that's pretty good.
It turns out the tradition of locking lips isn't just for people.
So if they're kissing after an argument...
Evolutionary biologist Dr. Matilda Brindle says kissing is surprisingly common in the animal world.
Gorillas, chimpanzees, bonobos and orangutans all seem to kiss at least some of the time. And this extends even past the primates as well. So you have animals like polar bears or prairie dogs, and even albatrosses kiss each other.
A new UK study suggests kissing dates back more than 21 million years, and that Neanderthals, our ancient human relatives, probably did it too. Dr. Brindle says with no obvious survival or reproductive benefit, the shared habit remains an evolutionary mystery.
It's really not a very hygienic behavior, is it? You're literally sharing your saliva with another individual. We know that we can transmit diseases that way. And that actually, to me, just makes it all the more compelling that this is an evolved trait.
British researchers hope this intimate insight will spark more studies into why we and so many other animals kiss. Until then, couples say they'll keep puckering up, no matter what science says. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
You have 13 hours in which to solve the labyrinth before your baby brother becomes one of us forever.
Labyrinth is back for its 40th anniversary. The Jim Henson fantasy film starring David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly returns to theaters this Thursday through Sunday, January 8th through the 11th. Locations and showtimes at fathomentertainment.com.
I want you to create a show. This is an announcement of revolution.
One battle after another put on a show at the National Society of Film Critics Awards, winning 4 trophies. Best Picture, Best Director for Paul Thomas Anderson, Best Supporting Actress for Tiana Taylor, and Best Supporting Actor for Benicio del Toro. Taylor Swift began 2026 the way she ended 2025, atop the Billboard 200. Her album, The Life of a Showgirl, racked up its 12th week at #1 on the chart. That's the most for any Swift album except the Tortured Poets Department, which topped the chart for 17 weeks. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, 7:51 now. The new year, it is here, and many of us are thinking about goals maybe for 2026. Maybe you want to eat healthier. Maybe you want to get more exercise. That's me for sure. Save some money or finally tackle that big project you've been putting off. Some people even make fun or unusual resolutions. So we want to know what your resolutions are. You're still sticking with more exercise?
Yeah, and I think another thing too is, I got a cookbook for Christmas.
Oh, cooking more.
So learning to cook a little bit more, I'm still kind of like learning to do that.
Yeah.
So I think learning to cook some more meals, I think would be a great goal.
John
or resolution.
John says he stopped making resolutions. Excuse me, I'm going to cough now. I resolved to stop coughing. And Aubrey says taking better care of mental health.
Oh, mental health is really good.
Yeah. So how's the weather looking as people wake up today?
Well, it is pretty gloomy out there. We got lots of fog out there, and also warmer temperatures will be on the way as we are going to be tracking another warm front to track through into tonight and will affect our temperatures for tomorrow and also into Wednesday. So that's what we're going to be tracking for the next couple of days, and then we are tracking our next system into the area to move through the area into Thursday and Friday with a batch of cooler air for this weekend behind that next system. Now, in the meantime, our upper level map is pretty flat. So whenever you get this west to east flow, not a whole lot of change is going to be expected. Instead, we're going to be seeing pretty dry conditions, and again, at the surface, we'll see some warmer temperatures as a result of a warm front. But as we head into Thursday and Friday, this wave is what we're going to be watching for, and that will trigger the chance for some rain, especially going into Friday with some possible heavy thunderstorms in the mix as well. So here's what it looks like on your surface features map here. So warm front will move in for tonight. Low pressure off to the north. We'll have a cold front behind it that'll bring our temperatures down slightly into Wednesday morning before rebounding back to the 70s for Wednesday afternoon. Then that system will slide through. We'll see some rain for Thursday and Friday, and then some cooler temperatures for the other side on Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures possibly going a little bit below average. So here's what it looks like in your future skycast. So this morning, upper 40s, low 50s. We'll make a run for the 60s and 70s for this afternoon with a mix of clouds and sun. And then that warm front moves through. We'll see temperatures a little bit warmer for your Tuesday morning in the middle to upper 60s. And this is where temperatures get really warm into the upper 70s, potentially near 80 in some parts of the area. Could potentially break some records, maybe even tie it as we move into Tuesday and Wednesday. There's some cooler temperatures for you on Wednesday morning as that cold front comes through. Upper 40s to low 50s, then middle to upper 70s will be a good possibility as well into Wednesday afternoon. So rainfall over the next 7 days, really Thursday into Friday is when it all is going to take shape here. A lot of it will be further to the north along and north of I-30, but a lot of us will have the chance of seeing at least 1/10 of an inch up to 1/4 of an inch. So this is what it looks like in your 7-day forecast. Near record high temperatures for Tuesday and Wednesday. Cooler temperatures on the other side of the system Thursday and Friday into the weekend.
All right, thank you, Joel. We're about to step away for a moment while we break into our over-the-air broadcast with a news update. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more here on CBS 19 Plus. Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Thanks for being with us for this morning news update. It's a tragedy that shook the state and sparked a national debate on school safety. Jury selection starts soon for Adrian Gonzalez. He is a Uvalde CISD police officer charged in connection with the Robb Elementary shooting that killed 19 children and 2 teachers. The trial was moved from Uvalde to Corpus Christi after Gonzalez's attorney filed a motion in August to change venues. They claimed he wouldn't receive a fair trial in Uvalde County. There will be heightened security at the courthouse throughout the trial, from local law enforcement to Texas Rangers. And CBS19 will have gavel-to-gavel coverage once the trial begins today. Now's a good time to download our streaming app, CBS19 Plus. That's where we'll have the exclusive coverage. You can do it for free on your TV. Longview ISD is mourning the passing of Doris McQueen, a longtime business director and namesake of a local elementary school. McQueen, who died on New Year's Day at 95, spent 46 years serving the district, retiring as a director of business services. She was honored with awards including Businesswoman of the Year and Rotary Citizen of the Year. A memorial service will be held Saturday, January 10th at the Evangelical Presbyterian Church in Longview. Check this out. Someone out there won $2 million during Saturday night's Texas Lottery Powerball drawing. And listen to this. The winning ticket was sold in Longview. The Texas Lottery announced the good news on its Facebook page Saturday. The big winner was sold at Mr. Quick on South High Street in Longview. The winning ticket was among the highest prizes won Saturday across Texas. So if you stopped by that store recently, it might be a good time to double check your tickets. Well, it's been a foggy start for a lot of us and also warmer out there, Joel.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are going to be tracking that fog through the rest of this morning, but by this afternoon, we'll see a little bit more peaks of sunshine and temperatures will be warming up into the low 70s. We'll have another round of a couple of warm fronts moving through for tonight and heading into Wednesday as well. Record high temperatures will be a possibility. And then we have our next chance of rain Thursday into Friday. And behind that chance of rain lies our next cool down heading into the area for this weekend. So future skycast looks like this: upper 40s, low 50s for this morning. Areas of fog will turn into sunny skies for this afternoon, upper 60s, low 70s into this afternoon. Then a warm front will move through. We'll see temperatures start out a little bit warmer for Tuesday in the middle to upper 60s. Kind of a cloudy start, but we'll end up with some peaks of sunshine for the afternoon. Temperatures in the upper 70s to near 80 by the afternoon. Then we'll have that cold front come through behind that warm front, upper 40s to low 50s for Wednesday morning before rebounding back into the middle to upper 70s for the afternoon. And we should be pretty rain free until we get to Thursday and Friday with our next system. And then temperatures from there after that cold front swings through will be slightly below average in the middle to upper 50s.
Breaking news just coming into our newsroom. The Shelby County Courthouse is closed today due to flooding. Judge Leanne K. Rafferty of the 123rd District Court shared the update on her Facebook page just moments ago. Her court serves both Shelby and Panola counties. Now, at this point, officials haven't released any additional details about the flooding or when the courthouse might reopen. And jury selection is expected to start today for former Uvalde CISD police officer Adrian Gonzalez. He faces 29 felony counts in connection to the deadly 2022 Robb Elementary shooting. Investigators say he was among the first officers to enter Robb Elementary while gunfire was still being reported. The trial was moved to Corpus Christi for a fair trial with heightened security from local officers to Texas Rangers. CBS19 will have gavel-to-gavel coverage once the trial begins on CBS19+. And former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife will appear before a federal judge in New York today following their capture over the weekend by U.S. military forces. The two are being held at a detention center in Brooklyn and face federal charges related to drug trafficking and working with gangs designated as terrorist organizations. And housing costs in Longview are outpacing what many families can afford. A city task force is pushing for changes to expand affordable options. The task force says the city needs over 300 affordable homes in the next 5 years, with recommendations including incentives, faster permits, updated zoning, and more rental and transitional housing. All right, a final check of your weather before we head out on this Monday morning.
Yeah, we're still tracking some fog here across the area, and we're taking a look at current visibilities. We're down to 0-mile visibilities in Mount Pleasant. I would say the worst fog is going to be in our northeast zone here with 1 mile of visibility recorded in Gilmer. We have 3/4 mile visibilities in Linden, Jefferson, and Marshall, as well as Shreveport. So again, if you're heading in that general direction, definitely want to make sure you are taking precaution. Elsewhere, still got 2 miles of visibility in Tyler with 3 to 4 mile visibilities across deep East Texas. So again, definitely make sure to take care this morning. All of that will be burning off by the time we get to the later half of this morning, and we'll end up with some peaks of sunshine for the afternoon and some warmer temperatures in the low 70s. And then we'll be up into the upper 70s for Tuesday and Wednesday, potentially tying our record high for Tuesday and potentially tying our record high for Wednesday. And then our next batch of rain will be moving in as we head into Thursday and especially into Friday, with some cooler and slightly below average temperatures in store for this weekend.
On the downslope of that roller coaster.
We sure are.
All right, fans flocked to the movies to say goodbye to Stranger Things. The final episode had debuted simultaneously on Netflix and in roughly 600 theaters. Due to contractual terms, residuals, Netflix was unable to charge for tickets. Instead, fans reserved a seat by buying a concession voucher from the theater. This is not the first time Netflix has dipped its toe into the theatrical waters. There was a special sing-along event for K-pop Demon Hunters. I know you've watched Stranger Things before.
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah.
Have you gotten to these final episodes?
I have not yet. I only honestly have watched a little bit of season 1 and season 2, so I am far behind. I got to catch up.
A lot of catching up to do.
I got a lot of catching up
to do. I know,
I
feel overwhelmed. Like maybe I couldn't catch up because I haven't started, but I've heard good things about it.
I did finish up Cobra Kai over the break.
Was it good?
It was very good.
Alrighty then.
Satisfactory.
Well, we're so glad you've been with us this morning and continued your day with us. You can catch the noon show. It'll also be streaming on CBS19+ and on CBS19. And keep it here for the latest news and weather throughout the day. Hope you have a good morning.